Good evening and welcome to Romanov Ball Cosplay. Today I'm going to be continuing my Lady Eboshi cosplay. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I made the rifle, this Edo period inspired rain cape, Jingasa hat, head wrap, and waraji shoes. So now let's get started. So starting off here, I'm taking my measurements and marking them out on my fabric. Then I drew on all the visible pieces and cut them out onto the fabric. Alright, so I have made the cape. The cape is completely constructed besides making a little closure thing for it here. This thing has been a roller coaster. So essentially what you're looking at here is a heavily modified Edo period rain cape. The reason why I say heavily modified is because originally these garments had multiple panels in them, like as you just saw, and I had to cut out like 2 of them, really large panels, just to get this color. Once the cape was completely constructed, I added the lining. The lining is a beautiful poly silk blend, which I basted into place. Once the basting was complete, I cut it out and then sewed it to the cape. To keep it unnoticeable, I used an invisible hem. And once the lining was sewn in, I did a decorative X embroidery stitch around the collar. So you're probably wondering what that word was in the beginning, and I'm going to give you a quick history lesson. The type of rifle that Lady Eboshi has is a top-loading handgun arquebus. No, that is not mispronounced, that is Latin, because these rifles were originally produced in 14th and 15th century Europe, but this type of top-loading rifle wasn't largely produced until the early 19th century, because before that everyone was using front-loading muskets. As you can see, she was very ahead of her time. Now that your history lesson is over, proceed to watch me struggle to break a PVC pipe. I used pliers, an X-Acto knife, a kitchen knife, almost got a katana, and then finally I was able to break it in half. Once I cut my PVC, I then drew out the shape of the rifle onto 10mm EVA foam. I cut out 6 sheets, leaving the inner 2 hollow to fit the PVC pipe. Then I glued it all together using hot glue. This definitely took a while and took a lot of energy. The nice thing about the PVC is it leaves the barrel hollow. That reminds me, after the masquerade, we got those little dots candies, and I put them down the barrel of the rifle along with some other candies, and I made, oh crap, they're still in there, that's gonna attract ants! Okay, now I'm just cutting out pieces of EVA foam to form the details on the rifle. Next, I Dremeled everything. Finally, I used Quick Seal to smooth everything out. Now for the scroll work on the side, I'm using foam clay to get those really intricate curves. I dipped my fingers in water and did my best to mirror each scroll. Now I'm priming my rifle with some house paint. Okay, so I've started painting the rifle. I'm first of all just absolutely obsessed with this right here. What I did is I first sprayed it with this Rust-Oleum hammered metal spray paint. I think that would add a really nice texture. And then the problem with it was that it was very opaque and meant to go over something, so it just looked kind of crappy. So I decided to use the gold because I had been really tempted to paint it this metallic gold. Ever since I got this stuff, I've been wanting to use it. And I thought, and I did, like over that, and it looks super good, but in the end, it's called Iron Town. We know what this is made out of, and it's made of iron. So what I did is I painted over that with the hammered metallic spray paint, and then I put the gold metallic spray paint over that on some of the edges, especially near the end. Don't worry, I'll get rid of all that dripping, and just somewhat on the edges, just giving a little bit of a finish, and I think it looks so good! Finally, I sprayed and painted the butt of the rifle. And to top off the rifle, I'm gluing fake plants with contact cement onto the rifle in the gaps where they would grow. This is definitely one of my favorite props. For the arm guards, I used an old leather jacket and I cut out the pieces. Then I cut out some EVA foam in the correct shapes and then glued the leather onto the EVA foam. Finally, I did a decorative cross stitch around the top of the arm guards and the bottom. They basically just slide on. So now for the waraji shoes. These are hands down one of my favorite parts of the entire cosplay. I'll link a tutorial down below so you can learn to make them too. I was so impressed with how easy they were to make, and also the fact that they didn't take that much time, and not to mention they held up during my cosplay performance better than a lot of my shoes. So essentially how I made the head wrap was I just took some black fabric and wrapped it around my head, and then just pinned in places where it needed to be cut, and then I just cut it and sewn it. Now moving on to the Jingasa hat. I had to glue 2 pieces of EVA foam together as they weren't wide enough for the 11-inch circumference. Then I cut a circle. Once I had cut out the circle, I cut a triangle into the bottom. I had to keep adjusting the size of it and then glued it together to give it the triangular shape. Once that was done, I sanded everything down and added quick seal along the seams to make it smooth. Now, time for another history lesson. The Jingasa hat was a very common hat, particularly with the Ashigaru, which were a small infantry group within the samurai. These hats, or should I say helmets, were commonly made out of hide, iron, and wood. An interesting fact is the ones that were made out of cast iron were sometimes used as portable cast iron pots for overnight missions and outdoor cooking. Okay, I am beyond confused. While doing research for this cosplay, I stumbled upon Lady Eboshi's villain Wikipedia page, where it then describes her physical appearance, and it describes the hat that she wears as her hunting hat as a red Eboshi cap, hence her name. However, when I looked up an Eboshi cap, this is the image that I got. So, explain to me. Why is she named after a type of hat she doesn't even wear? 1,000 apologies. So as you can see now, I'm just finishing priming the hat, and then I finished it all off with a bright red spray paint and some gloss.
This is entry number 8 in the Masters category. This is Romanov Ball Cosplay as from Mononoke Hime. In the battle between humans and nature, Lady Eboshi confronts the forest spirit. Can there be balance?
Now watch closely, everyone. I'm going to show you how to kill a god.
This cosplay to KikoriCon 2023, where I achieved one of my major goals of getting a craftsmanship award.